All right, welcome back to Slots and Locks. Today we're doing the exact opposite of what we did in the last episode.
Yeah, last time 88 Fortunes, that was a smooth ride. It had progress bars. You could select your own stuff. You'd tell the computer how much you wanted to, how volatile you wanted to be the game. Really made you feel good about yourself, right, Tim?
Yep, today's all about pain, of course. No pain,
This,
no gain.
yeah, this game is one of those games where it basically tells you, hey, man, you need to stick with me because something's going to happen at some point in time.
Yeah, so we're playing Buffalo Gold. As we just mentioned, 88 Fortunes was kind of a smooth ride. So the real question we're going to talk about is why players put up with this and keep coming back and playing. One side note I think we should probably say is that it's kind of apropos that Mello shows up with a Charlie Sheen Two and a Half Men shirt on, which is fitting because this episode is about volatility, denial, and believing it's all going to turn around.
Wow.
So,
Dang. You're projecting my shirt on society. One in particular. Um, yeah, funny. Yeah, what can I say? The shirt technically was free because I had to use a credit card, and then they gave me bonus cash, so I jumped at it. It's so leisurely and short sleeve.
nothing wrong with the shirt. Figured we had to call that out. All right, let's jump into it. Let's talk about the history of the game itself. Who made it? Where did it come from? And any other interesting information.
Yeah, so Buffalo Gold. This is one of our first Aristocrat games, right, Tim?
That's right. It
Yeah.
is the first.
So this game, in its original form, came out, I think, first in the early 2010s, and it crushed North America land-based casinos. It comes from a company called Aristocrat, as I said before. A brief history on Aristocrat: it was founded by Len Ainsworth, who is a true OG in this industry. It was founded in 1953, I believe, in Australia. Originally, I remember Aristocrat as a Keno factory. They made the Keno machines, if you're familiar with Keno. But years after, and I think in the 90s, I think he left and founded Ainsworth Game Technology, AGT. I think that is based in Las Vegas at the time. And at some point in time, just about prior to the pandemic, Aristocrat again acquired a majority stake in Ainsworth. But Aristocrat currently now owns 50% of Ainsworth, but it did not fully merge. It operates basically as a separate brand and studio. I'm assuming giving Len Ainsworth, if he's still operational, a lot of autonomy to create his own thing.
And I think they've always talked about those two companies being kind of sister companies. And I think this is a good segue into we'll do an Ainsworth game maybe next week. I think it's a good thing just because it should be kind of back to back.
You do you think they would have like the two companies? You think they sort of have a brothers effect?
That's quite the inside joke, huh?
That's a way
There is a
inside joke.
yeah sisters effect, right? But
Yeah,
anyhow, so basically this game created a genre. So when people you'll hear this in the industry, you'll hear it all over the place that you'll hear the term, "Oh, do you have a Buffalo game?" So this whole genre was created around this this game or this group of games that have come out, and obviously they've been copied, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
yes, before Buffalo, obviously animal games existed, mythology games around animals existed, and that after Buffalo, everyone sort of wanted to reach for their own Buffalo. In fact, Wolf Run, which is an IGT game, kind of a perennial game, is an attempt to kind of chase the buffalo, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think this we talked about 88 Fortune is going after the true kind of Asian theme games with luck and fortune and eights and things like that is that resonates with that crowd. But this is really a truly a North American game, like wide open spaces, frontier, like that whole concept of it screams America from that standpoint. And it's very culturally ingrained in a lot of North American casinos because of it.
Totally. Big animals, wide open spaces, frontier mythology. It hits a very different emotional nerve than the 88 Fortunes game we played prior.
Yes, and so I think the experience of the game on the land base probably is more rich because they have multiple the cabinets and things like that, and Aristocrat is slowly getting this game into online. It's more and more places. Obviously, they have social casinos where they have the game, but it's not exactly a match per match in terms of the title like Buffalo Gold. But a lot of the Buffalo Gold genres of games are pretty much exactly the same. So we'll show you one online as well. The land-based one, highly recommend playing. It's quite entertaining.
So you're basically saying that the buffalo is a signal. Sorry, I can't talk. A signal for high volatility, play a long time, eventually get something out of it. Essentially, bringing the
Yeah,
pain.
yeah, exactly. So this goes into kind of the big question is why do they tolerate losing for so long in this game?
Well, I mean, quite simply, gamblers come in many flavors. Some like the trickle effect, where are constantly feeling like they're winning money back. Others like the long tail. They know a payment is going to come, or they have the ability to make that payment and stall and wait for it to come. And so games like this, Wolf Run, come to mind, offer them that different level of I don't know, intrigue, luck. What's the word I'm looking for? Pain, I
Gambler,
guess.
gambler pain that I feel like you're just on the edge of winning,
The
even when you're not.
psychology, yeah, the dopamine psychology, the Adderall effect, if you will, of
So,
gambling.
exactly. So why don't we can kind of get into that a little bit deeper. Why don't we show the game and then kind of play a little bit, keep talking like we've done before. Okay, again, this game is on Hearts of Vegas. It's a company called Product Madness. Product Madness years ago had a social casino. They were bought out by Aristocrat, and so they have a lot of the Aristocrat games on their site. And they have several different sites, but I'm particularly just playing on this one. And this is Buffalo Gold Max Power. Pretty similar to the same game. The experience is going to be the same as well. And I'm just going to start auto spinning it. Let's do a few spins with the sound on, and then we'll turn it off. So let me it does different anticipation, obviously, when it hits certain symbols and makes additional sounds. But I'm just going to turn off the sound here for a minute here so we can talk as well. So I'll let it spin, and hopefully we'll get lucky and get into a free spin bonus round. All
Oh,
right.
it has the expanding reel.
Yeah, and I guess we maybe before we kind of jump into this as well, I probably should have stopped this for a second. You're probably going to laugh because we talked about doing this, which is kind of going to the info button and explaining some of the rules of this. So it's a ways game, and you have different ways to win, like we talked about. And because there's different symbols and they change the symbols, this can change the number of ways you can win as well. And from here, the easiest way to look at it is just different symbols, pay a little bit more. We're looking for the scatter symbol, which is going to get us in the free spins, but the buffalo obviously pays the most here. You feel free to add anything you want to, Chris. There's a bunch of things when you collect certain within the free games itself that we can kind of go into. Hopefully, we'll show it. Go ahead.
So it has a pretty convoluted free game feature. It looks like. So you is the
Yeah, and
so the free game feature is actually like a pick, not a picker, but like a collector type of thing.
no, you get these, and then you end up getting free spins, and it's spinning with the buffalo is replaced with a kind of a gold buffalo, and so you end up winning more. And so this goes into the kind of the volatility of the ride, where you're just gonna have a drought for a very long time, and you're not gonna win. And then the game is about the waiting for the bonus round, hitting the bonus round. That's where you're gonna win the most amount of money. Okay, so let's just spin it, and then we can keep talking. So again, yeah, you can see we're spinning. It, I don't know if actually we should apologize for how bad it looks, but hey, we actually won something here. But most of the time, it's going to be dead spinning where you're spinning and spinning and spinning and not winning something.
Tim,
But clearly,
you're a rock star.
I won something. But there's going to be a lot of dead spins here.
What's the win here? It's three tens and four aces, four tens. Oh, five tens. Okay. Wow, this is like this is like insane win. It doesn't
I
even
know,
feel.
right?
It's weird because it doesn't feel like it's a big win. It feels like you hit tens and aces.
Yeah, I know. And its 2x symbol actually makes it large as well. So that was a pretty huge win. What is that? Right now we're at
D-
20 times, 30 times.
I mean, yeah, you're already your balance is already plus.
Yep.
And on this game, did you actually buy like tokens?
And, it comes with a free balance to start with.
Oh, nice.
I should be able to stop this here. All right, 380. There you go. All right, it's funny that we just said it's going to be a lot of dead spins, but anyhow, we are winning some. So maybe the math variant in this is a little bit different.
I think it's running the way it should, right? You basically didn't win 30 spins and then you won a massive amount and now you're up 200 grand.
Yeah, and so I think we should point out a couple things in the game. It's really straightforward. You notice how I have the sound off, but even when I turn the sound on, which I'll do real quick, just so you can see it, it's very quiet in a sense where you hear a few things here or there, and stuff like that. But there's no constant feedback like you'll see in a lot of other games. There's no progress bar. Everything's very, very simple in
Um,
terms of
okay, so I don't hear anything though.
you don't hear any sound.
No.
Oh, okay. You're gonna trust me. There's some sound, but anyhow, there's it's very simple in terms of how it goes through and the games that go through. There's not all this bells and whistles, everything. It's straightforward. All right, so let's talk about. Uh, we talked about 88 Fortunes. We talked about, and we're talking about Buffalo Gold here last week. So this kind of goes into what you and I were kind of talking about earlier. Like, if you liken maybe Superman to 88 Fortune, this is like Bizarro Superman. So it's the exact opposite. So let's talk about who plays this game and the type of players that would play it.
Yeah, so this is for mostly experienced slot players. This is for players who understand slot mechanics and not for the faint of heart if you don't win in 10 spins. That's for sure. It's also for this thing called bonus chasers, which is a misnomer, I think. Aren't we all essentially chasing a bonus when we play slot machines? We all know red, white, and blue and all of that stuff. So, yeah, bonus chasers as well. And people who can emotionally and key financially survive droughts because responsible gambling is a true thing here.
Yeah, so this is definitely not a beginner game, would you say?
Yeah, because I think if a new player ended up here and they didn't just happen to get the random number generator to spin out the big win, they would basically quit, assume it's broken or it's rigged.
Yep. We might actually hit something here. That'd be great. All right, we won 8 free games. We're in the bonus round.
You got the free spins.
Yes. So these symbols right here, we got 3 of them, and then it's like I said, it's random. You can get 8 to I think 20 free spins. So this is where the money really happens. This is where everything changes. I would say maybe our heart rate beats up a little bit higher as well. Wouldn't you say, Chris? Mellow?
Yeah, this is. I think this is why you play this game, right? Because it's not a progressive. So yeah. Now, why are the ways numbers changing on the way up, on the top right?
So there's different symbols here, and you can see how some of them are 4 or 5, and some are 3.
Oh,
And so it
okay.
changes the number of ways every single spin based off the symbols that are in here. So you'll see expanding buffalo symbols are the entire thing here. We got more free spins, which is like a re-trigger mechanism. The solar reveals, there would be sound here, but I'm not going to do the sound here. And then once you get into this, you can see the symbols here. The more you collect, the more you're going to win. And then the symbols, this gold has been replaced with the regular buffalo that kind of inserts in the bonus round. That's not in the base game itself. But pretty much everything happened. If you lost a lot of money on this before on the base game, you're going to make a lot of it back on this one. Now,
Yeah,
apart from that one big spin that we won.
yeah, and I think that and those are golden buffalo heads, right?
Exactly.
So I think the idea is if you collect enough of those, that is where you're going to get the likelihood of the 5 buffalo or six buffaloes to win the big jackpot, right?
It starts going well, maybe we'll hit it again, but if you collect 3 of them, you change all these ones into the buffalo, and as you get buffaloes you win more and more, and you can see how a lot of these symbols keep changing. We got the first one, and then we were working on the second one.
Oh, it progresses up.
Yeah,
Okay, cool, nice.
and so those are the bigger symbols anyways. All right, well, I'm surprised we got into that. So let's talk about the math itself and the mechanics and everything of the game itself. I think we went through the psychology, talked about the player. I think it's maybe we can go back to that and go back to the math here.
Yeah, oddly enough, our reality did not follow through on our analysis originally because I'm
Yep.
supposed to basically say the base game barely matters, but for us it was the big massive win, and
I know, which
and
is
and the
exactly opposite of what we're saying, but
it, yeah, it was literally four. Our base game win was 4x a free spin win. Hey,
yeah,
so much for planning.
yeah. Well, you can plan, but sometimes these games throw for a loop. But this is generally it's the idea that you're one spin away that you're going to hit this because you keep seeing these buffaloes, you keep seeing these things, and it's going to get in the bonus round. So again, this is really for the bonus game.
Yeah, I will say we were spot on the long flat stretches though, and then a couple huge spikes and one free spin bonus. We're
Yep,
still technically now down, even though we had
yep,
fortune.
100%. So like we said, the base game is rarely matters. I would say it's all about the free spins itself. It's almost like the base game is kind of like the foreplay for the free spin bonus round. Would you say?
Yeah, to me, it's very similar to hiking in Hawaii, where you're going on a hike in Hawaii, and it's like a slow dribbler downhill, and then it's a massive mountain you have to get over, and that's how the losses and the wins here. You're just slowly trickling losses here, and then you're hoping for that big hit to come.
Yeah, kind of. We talked about this goes back into that analogy we keep using around the roller coaster. So probably not get much, and then there's a big spike and kind of drop as well. So the long climb, massive drop. I like your hiking analogy a little bit better though. I think
That's
that's
all I can
probably
really remember about hiking in Hawaii is like you go downhill for some reason, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, now it's a 3,000 foot hike in elevation, and then you basically do it again.
have you been to Kauai?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, my
I
wife and
had.
I hiked the Kakalel. I know I'm not going to pronounce that 11-mile one-way hike, which was phenomenal on
Did you?
coast.
Yeah, the famous one, right? Yeah, my
Yep.
wife and I did it too, but it wasn't as successful as yours.
The funny thing is when we got to the end of it, I know this is off tangent, but I think this is good. When we got to the end of it, my something popped out my knee, and I was like, had I was stuck out there, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta walk. So I
Well,
dragged my leg hiking down the trail, and then eventually, after a few miles, something popped back in place, and I was good to go, and
uh,
nothing ever happened.
yeah, we went during in February. It was the wet season. Yeah, it was an experience. You really get to know your wife, and vice versa, about risk and all of that. I think. Do I
We're talking.
recommend it? Do I recommend it as a honeymoon? No, I don't really recommend it as a honeymoon option. But you learn a lot. Hey, you have a massive win again. Another X2.
It's this 2x that keeps bumping up the wins here. So I guess this is supposed to be about low frequency, high impact bonuses, and it creates that emotional memory, then steady payouts, and that's the idea. So this is why we say it's not a beginner game. Experienced slot players. Experience is a one of those words that are funny because it's almost like you have a bunch of skill at playing slot games. But what we mean by that is basically someone that understands how the roller coaster, the volatility works, and understands that okay, I'd rather wait a long time. I don't mind losing 50 spins in a row and be negative so I can win big.
It's the skill of familiarity versus just looking at your bonus or your balance and going. But yeah, but when the things
Yeah,
could
maybe we'll hit
change.
another one and get a bigger win. I think it's always good to hit two. We'll see where we go. But what you mentioned Wolf Run, but other Buffalo games, I assume there's a bunch of copycats, Buffalo clones, and things like that exist. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some that come to mind, but generally when this game came out, everyone tried to emulate it. Like I said, Wolf Run was one, um, and then Wolf Run also spun off an entire genre of Wolf products for IGT. Lightning Link, which is also owned by Aristocrat, is very similar as well. Obviously not animal themed, but Dragon Link as well was another kind of take off this game as well.
Yeah, and I think they're just some of them just copied the Buffalo itself and then try to make that frontier Buffalo game and called it a Buffalo game and kind of slapped a Buffalo in there.
There's lots
But
of
the problem
buffaloes, yeah, lots of drums.
Yeah, exactly. Good. It's one thing about the art and the theme, like that's, the sound, all those things kind of go into the game itself, but it's not as simple as just copying the animal and that's it. It's the emotional structure the math of the game, the how it feels and stuff like that. That's a little more difficult to copy. And they obviously this game, Aristocrat copied and kept using the theme Buffalo over and over again. And so you'll see tons of Buffalo games from Aristocrat, but everyone else started creating Buffaloes. And
Well,
then it
no,
turns into, and that's
yeah,
all is
no,
Buffalo.
and it makes perfect sense because when you see a Buffalo game, you essentially you're anticipating this kind of a ride from the slot.
Yeah.
I think the misnomer is when a company has a success such as this or whatever, and they change the math for that particular genre. That's where you get into a tricky part.
I feel like this goes into something when we were at IGT, you were trying to convince them to, I can't think of the word off the top of my head, but having the same family, I think they called it, family of games releasing, and they're almost fighting back. I want to say it was like 50K pyramid or 100K pyramid or something like that. You wanted to release a whole family of games, and they wanted to basically create new games from scratch, but we had a successful game
Yeah, the idea was to franchise
franchise. There you
a game based on the game mechanic of the game. So in this particular case, the game mechanic is high volatility. It's expanded reels or symbols, long ride, etc. And to take that and do like you'd have a picker version and you'd have something else. There's 15 or 16 different type of games. All of them would not actually work for the franchise, but that was the goal.
Yep. And then like this Buffalo style game, like I think going back to the clones, I think they fail because of the pacing, the bonus reveal, things like that. But you can see as we've been playing, talking here, our balance was over 5 million. It's dropping quite a bit, so it's eating it up. And hopefully we hit in the bonus here soon. But it's definitely eating our balance pretty quickly here as we keep playing.
You're leveling up pretty high though, in your on your free slot game. You're on level
Yeah,
seven level now.
I know. We keep giving this more and more fun, so I don't run out here. I might run out if we keep playing this game, but you never know. We might get lucky, hit the bonus again. I think this is the whole theme of this game, which is we talked about 88 Fortunes, which was around progress and feeling like you're collecting the fortune cookies or the coins, depending on whether you're playing land or online. But this game is just like hope. You're
I
just
mean,
hoping you hit it.
it has a stepper feel to it because you know how you're basically in the stepper. You're just waiting for red, white, and blue on the sevens, or you know,
Yeah.
a couple double diamonds to hit or whatever, and it just takes forever. But what happens?
Oh, we almost hit there. Oh, so close. We got two of the
But yeah,
scatter symbols.
but yeah, to your point, cloning, if you want to call it that, where another company takes a success of some other and they try to replicate it, rarely works. It did for Wolf Run. Wolf Run was very successful online in the terrestrial. Is that the right word? Terrestrial.
Eh, close
Terrest.
enough.
Some strange static. Tim
All
eventually
right.
will get a microphone. Tim will get a microphone eventually, and then our communication issues will go away,
That's what you think.
or they'll
They could get
multiply. Or they'll
worse.
multiply. Yeah, maybe they'll multiply.
So, what's the lesson here? What's the takeaway from this game? What do you think?
This game is designed for pain, like you said. Eventually, you feel some that psychological dopamine kick in, but right now we're down 800,000.
And that's the pain makes the reward more feel earned or more satisfying. And this goes into this psychology of players. And I think if you think about it in life, if you do something really hard, it might be terrible in the moment, but when you look back and you feel more proud of it because you feel like you earned it a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think if you look at gambling from an entertainment perspective, again, responsible gambling is key. You don't lose what you can't afford to lose. But you show up, you spin the reels, and if this is the game that you like, eventually it's not. Eventually, it's not always going to turn out to your advantage.
100%. So I guess feedback as we post these, keep adding comments of games you want to see, more games you want to see, and give us a
Discussion
yeah.
tips, that would be key. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we'd probably do a whole series around what will Mello wear next,
I
and
mean,
maybe they recommend something for you to wear.
I one of my New Year's resolutions is to dress much better than my jogger pants and my homage T-shirts.
Sometimes you got to be comfortable, right? Depends on the day. All right. So I guess there's everyone out there that may be listening, which is probably two of you guys. Do you like the smooth ride? Do you like the big drop? Tell us like what type of volatility, what type of games you like.
Yeah, progress bars or pain. And
Either way, I'm sure we'll find a way to complain next time. But maybe we'll get lucky in one last spin. Oh, this could be huge. This is a way to go out.
I want the coins. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So next week we'll discuss an actual Ainsworth game. That feels like it
Unless
should be a win. Oh, you
I
got a
feel like
free
we had to
spin.
go out on a free spin round. Maybe we'll get lucky. Okay, so now if we collect four of these, this will change this eagle will change into the buffalo itself. So hopefully we'll see that. And then once this one will change. So we have now three left because we collected one. Obviously, the wins are considerably higher. So this is a pretty good win. I would love to see us get back to maybe break even here. So we won 252 on that one so far, total win, which is great. The re-trigger is fantastic too. We can get
Yeah,
more and more free spins.
yeah. Your free spin is much more successful this time.
So far, let's hope we re-trigger a couple more free spins here. All right, we need one more to change the eagle, but we only have two more spins here.
Yeah, so I was this many years old when I learned that culturally there is a significance of an eagle turning into a buffalo. It is about power changing form from vision to survival.
Wow, that's deep. I
I
feel like we
mean,
should go out.
to, for that to essentially be in a slot machine, though, that is pretty impressive, to be honest with you. Somebody really gave it some thought.
Sometimes I wonder where something is thought or coincidence. But anyhow, till the
No,
next time.
that's pretty specific. Yeah. Anyway, you're right. Till next time. Thank you. Enjoy. Uh, whatever.
Yeah,
Oh, I gotta hit stop recording.
lots and lots out.